But I'll tell you that over the course, it was long, an hour and a half or however long it was, over the course of his speech, I was pretty moved, and the look back was impressive. So let's go over it for a second here. First, you've got Gaza. Now, I know we didn't lead with that, but I want to lead with that. You have a ceasefire in Gaza. Nobody thought that was going to be Nobody thought that was going to be possible. And it's holding. And Trump talked about, listen, I am absolutely anti-Hamas. But he talked about the fact that you actually had Hamas and the IDF digging through the rubble to find the bodies of the Israeli hostages together. And for some reason, I visualized that in my mind. And it made me deeply emotional. I thought, it's incredible. It's incredible. It's incredible. So I'm super pissed about the glyphosate. But that's incredible. Then he brought out Enrique, the gentleman's name was Enrique Marquez. It was a political prisoner in Venezuela. And he was jailed by Maduro when I believe he ran against him. And he reunited him with his niece right there in the middle of the State of the Union. She's crying and Enrique is crying. Now I'm at home. I'm crying. And it's not obviously about this gentleman, even though that was a very emotional reunion. It's about the fact that you extracted this freaking evil dictator, and we didn't lose one American life. And then he's like, we're about to get all this oil from Venezuela, and government's cooperating. We didn't have a regime change. No war that went on for decades and decades and decades. The military-industrial complex did not get rich. This was not a manipulation of policy. It was honestly so far genius. It was genius. I'm sorry. I wanted to be skeptical. I was skeptical. I had Mike Baker on. We were both appropriately skeptical, and we're going to let it play out. We're going to see how it goes. So far, so good, team. So far, so good. Then he starts talking about the price of gas. It is the lowest that it's been in 4 years. And he starts talking about the markets, and they are the highest that they've ever been. Is stuff still expensive? Yes, it is. And there are several reasons for this. And I'm not going to give Trump a total pass, but the reality is that a lot of these companies that were able to charge more for the longest time are like, we're not going to start charging less. Even though we pay less for gas, why would we start charging less? When they say inflation is at its lowest, that means that prices are still growing, just at a much slower rate. I think right now inflation is somewhere between 2 and 3%. Under Biden, it spiked all the way up to 17%. The tariffs, and I know the Supreme Court just struck these down, which I'm kind of disappointed about, and here's why. I started out exceptionally skeptical. I had Bill O'Reilly on the show. I had Sean Hannity on the show, and they said, listen, could we tweak the strategy? Maybe. Is this going to work? We don't know yet. We got to wait and see. Well, here's what we know. It didn't crash the economy. Trump's tariffs did not crash the economy, guys. Did not happen. And Trump went on to say, I'm hoping that we can use these tariffs to replace income tax. Now, I don't know. Maybe he's bullshitting us. It's possible, but he did get rid of tax on tips. He did get rid of tax on overtime. He is delivering on those promises. Yes, rich people also got a tax cut. They did. I'm not an economist. I can't tell you if that's good or that's bad. I know that Reagan did it. I can't weigh in on it. I don't know yet. I'll see. But he has delivered on his promises. And he was also very clear that he used tariffs as a negotiating strategy. Now, you can say that's dangerous. That's wildly irresponsible. He should never be doing that. But here we are now, over a year later, and it appears to be working. Every time I want to jump down this guy's throat, Greenland, right? We just had Bill O'Reilly on who was saying, I told the president, don't make me, join the Greenland army. But the reality is, we didn't go to war with Greenland. He flexed his muscles and Trump beat his chest, and now we're making a deal on Greenland. So I don't know. I'm not unhappy about that. I'm not unhappy about it. I'm actually kind of happy about it. And I didn't love the fact that, like, we're paying into NATO. We're paying for protection for Greenland. Why is China over there getting to mine for all their rare earth minerals? I don't love that, actually, now that I think about it. And if you've got bullies all over the world flexing their muscle in Venezuela or in Iran, personally, I kind of want to be there. Let's talk about Iran for a second. High blood pressure is the #1 risk factor for mortality, and 1 in 2 adults has it. So that means there's a 50-50 chance you are a walking time bomb. And I'm sorry to sound dramatic, but there is good news because you can take control of your blood pressure naturally without relying on big pharma. 120 Life is a blend of great tasting superfruit juices that have been shown to lower blood pressure. It's backed by hundreds of doctors and trusted by thousands of people who've seen measurable results. And here's the best part. It's completely risk-free. Try 120 Life for 2 weeks, and if you don't see a difference in your numbers, you get your money back. You just go to 120life.com. That's 120life.com. And you use the code Jillian to save 20% and get free shipping. This is serious. For real, guys. Honestly, this is your life we're talking about. And 120 Life can help. What does comfort that really carries you from morning to night feel like? For me, it's Cozy Earth. And it starts with their essential socks. They're soft, they're breathable, they're thoughtfully cushioned to support you step by step from the first step out of bed to the end of a long day. They've got multiple styles. They fit seamlessly into everyday life. And when the day winds down, that same comfort shows up at night with Cozy Earth's Comforter. It's luxuriously soft, light, and naturally temperature regulating, so you stay cool, calm, and comfortable all night. No heaviness, no overheating, just deeper rest. And that's what sets Cozy Earth apart. Every piece is crafted with intention and attention to detail, designed to quietly elevate the everyday. And guess what, guys? It's completely risk-free. They've got a 100-night sleep trial and a 10-year warranty. Yeah, 10 years. So guess what? You can discover how care in every detail transforms simple routines into real comfort by heading over to CozyEarth.com and using my code Michaels for up to 20% off. That's Michaels for up to 20% off. And if you get a post-purchase survey, please be sure to mention that you heard about Cozy Earth right here on my show. Small businesses are the backbone of the American economy, but getting funding from traditional banks is an uphill battle. And of the 36 million small businesses in the U.S., over 70% report needing additional capital every year. So while revenue is at an all-time high, big banks are tightening standards and approving fewer loans than ever, leaving owners stuck with mountains of paperwork. But if you want bank rates without the bank delays, check out cardiff.co/Jillian for up to $500,000 in same-day funding. So Cardiff is the largest privately held small business lender in the United States, having funded over $12 billion since 2004. And their application takes less than 5 minutes. And it has no impact on your personal credit. Approvals happen in minutes with same-day funding. So banks try to lock out small businesses. Cardiff has the key. Big banks may not want to approve your business loans, but Cardiff does. So if you've been in business for at least a year and you're pulling in $20,000 a month in revenue, apply now for up to $500,000 in same-day business funding at cardiff.co/Jillian. Again, that's cardiff.co/Jillian. Real growth, fast funding. Cardiff, borrow better. He was very clear. He didn't talk about it long, but he said, I want to handle this diplomatically. I want to make a deal. Doesn't want to go to war. He's been very clear about this, by the way. These are not changes in his position. He's maintained his position that Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon for what's almost a friggin' decade now, if not maybe longer. I remember him talking about it, obviously, as he was running back in 2016. And we saw this play out over the course of his first term when he took out Soleimani and he bankrupted Iran. And it's playing out again now. He's been very consistent. So whether you agree or whether you disagree, he has been consistent on this position. Now, I appreciate, and we've talked a lot about this on the show, the concept of America first. Is it America first to invest the energy and the money into our infrastructure here, schools, roads? Maybe. But does it become a significant problem if Iran ever has nuclear power? Yeah. Is it in our best interests if we can do this without having boots on the ground in a conflict that goes on for years to edge out Russia and China, to take away that crutch for them when it comes to oil, and our sanctions can be more impactful? Sure, it sure freaking seems like it. Iran, they're the number one funders of terror. Putting that down would be awesome. Defanging them would be tremendous. And hopefully it would help expand the Abraham Accords and expand peace across the Middle East. We know Saudi does not love Iran. It is not just Israel that does not love Iran, and obviously not the people, but the government. So I thought that was pretty freaking interesting. And then there were just some incredibly heartfelt moments that made me proud to be an American. The hockey team. Let's talk about this for a second. These kids, both the boys and the girls, won the gold for America. Neither team said anything anti-American. It's wrong that we put our athletes in a position to have to comment on this. And I love the fact that, Jack Hughes said from the men's hockey team, like, we're athletes. We're not political. We're proud to be American. We're proud to play for America. And I saw so much pushback on social media from people on the far left, suggesting that they should not have let Kash Patel into the locker room. Seriously? Or they shouldn't have taken a call from the leader of the free world. If Gavin Newsom became president, okay, and for some reason he called me to congratulate me, I would take the call. If Gavin Newsom said, I'd like to invite you to the White House, I appreciate whatever success you had on behalf of our country, and I think we can come together on this, I would show up. Anybody should show up. It is outrageous to ask them not to show up. And it is entirely un-American. I was literally touched when these kids, these young boys and girls, took the flag, skated around the rink, kissed their gold medal, stood on the podium, sang our national anthem. I'm not ashamed to be American. It is wrong to be ashamed to be American. And anybody who is should spend a week in Iran. Let us know how it goes. All right, guys, if you like this clip and you want to watch the full episode, click here. And if you want more content like this, you can subscribe to the show by clicking here.